I've been using the Surface Pro 3 for around about a month now, and for me it's a device that replaces both a laptop and a tablet. It's both devices in one, and I'm going to show you today a little bit about how I use it. So the first thing I wanted to show you about how I use the Surface Pro 3 is of course how I use it when I'm in the office. Now, I don't spend a lot of time in the office. My life is very mobile. I'm quite a mobile worker. I'll be in any one of 3 or 4 or 5 different states of Australia from week to week. And I tend to work out of hotel rooms and out of hire cars and all those sorts of things, taxis and buses and trains. But when I am in the office, I like to have a really good work environment set up. So I've got my 2 big screens here. When I get the new Surface docking station, I might add an extra couple of screens there and make it 4 screens, and the Surface is very capable of running that. I've also got the Surface screen running all together, and I might have my Outlook file open over here and looking at some emails. I might have my Word document over here, and I've got my OneNote file on there. And so I can very easily have all those programs running side by side together. I'm using a proper Bluetooth mouse when I'm in the office here, and for ergonomics I actually prefer to pop the Surface keyboard away under there and use this Bluetooth keyboard. So I'll normally arrange that, make that quite comfortable, but the point is when I'm here in the office I'm not compromised. This device can do all this very easily. It is a solution that works as a very good desktop computer. So here's the Surface sitting on my lap, and you can see that it sits there reasonably nice, and I can adjust the kickstand to suit. If I want to sit the screen back, it still sits on my lap pretty well. It doesn't want to slip off. It's quite reasonable. So to type on this, I'll just grab a cursor there. It's not too bad to type on at all. It's a really good feel to the keys. The only negative that I find about this new keyboard, this is the Type cover keyboard of course, is that it's a little bit loud. It tends to drum a little bit when you're tapping on the keys. And that's the only negative I find about it. I find it really easy to type on this keyboard. Maybe it's not as good as some of the laptop keyboards that are out there, but it's good enough to do what I need to do, which is a lot of typing. Now the other good thing about the Surface keyboard when I'm in this mode of course is that the new trackpad is much improved over the last one. So you can see the old keyboard there, really small trackpad, wasn't multi-touch and things like that, so it was a little bit tricky to use. With the new Surface Pro 3 it is a full multi-touch keyboard. It also allows you to do the Windows 8 gestures straight off of the trackpad there as well, which can be quite handy. Keyboard is backlit as well, so that helps quite a bit when you're using it at night time. Now the next workflow is something that Surface Pro 3 does better than anything else in my opinion, and that's taking meeting notes. So to do that I'm here of course in tablet mode. I've got the kickstand away and I'm holding it in my hand, and the Surface is really light to be able to do that. I've got the new N-Trig pen for the Surface Pro 3, and I've just got a OneNote page here ready to go. I'm just going to drop in some meeting details from a meeting that I was in last week, and you can see that from my Outlook file this has automatically filled in the meeting details of the attendees and the detail that was on the meeting in Outlook, and it's put that right into the OneNote page, so I'm ready to go for this meeting. One of the first things that I'll do if I'm doing some training or I'm with a group is I'll draw a picture of the table and I'll write everybody's name around the table. And that helps me to remember who's who. It's just a little memory aid. One of the great things about taking notes by hand is the memory connections that you can make by doing that. I'll normally be in full screen mode now, and I'll take my meeting notes. Now at the end of the meeting, what I'll actually do is I'll just go back into the menu here and I'll click on email page, and what Outlook will do, or what OneNote will do, is actually fire up an Outlook email that has all of my handwritten meeting notes on it, and I'll send that off to all the participants of the meeting who are already pre-populated in the address list at the top of the email there. So for me, taking meeting notes and sharing those meeting notes is one of the things that I do most commonly in my day-to-day use of the Surface Pro 3, and I think that there's no better way to do it than this way with the Surface Pro 3. So another workflow that I regularly encounter with the Surface Pro 3 is when I'm training or presenting. So I might have a slide deck and I want to connect to a remote screen, a projector or a TV. In this case, I'm going to use my monitor here just to demonstrate this. I've got here on the desk a little ActionTech Miracast device that's called a ScreenBeam Pro. And what that allows me to do is actually just to wirelessly connect to a projector or a second screen. So you can see that that's already paired together. Very easy to do, and it's going to go ahead there and wirelessly connect as a second screen. Once that's done, here we go. From my device here, I can actually remote control the screen over there. So you can see that what I'm seeing on the tablet here, on the Surface Pro 3, is reflected up here on the remote screen. So that would be a projector in most scenarios that I'm in. Now I'll switch into presentation view, and you can see that my slide has started over here on the remote screen. I've got my presenter view here still on the Surface Pro 3, and what I can actually do, using the digital pen here, I'll see if I can demonstrate this for you, is that I can actually draw in my slides here, and my annotations will actually come out on the presentation screen as well. So that's a way I can actually make presentations really interactive with the Surface Pro 3. I can actually be moving around the audience, interacting with people in the audience when I'm doing a presentation or when I'm doing a training session, and still be presenting remotely on the screen. And I've got my device with me in my hand, which is fantastic. Now, of course, once I'm done with work for the day, I might want to scroll across to my games. And the Windows Store has really done quite well populating out with lots and lots of different games. Sure, it's probably not as well rounded out as the iOS or the Android app stores at the moment, but there are some pretty cool apps on here. And one of the things that I like to do when I'm on a long flight, and I've probably done with doing all my emails and those sorts of things, is actually just to come in and play a game like this is the Catan board game that a lot of geeks will recognise, and I'll go in there and I'll play a particular scenario, set the game up there, and I'll be using this in a tablet mode so that you can see here what I'd like to do in this situation is when I'm sitting back, I actually kick the kickstand out like that, and I'll sit it on my lap and I'll play it this way. Or if I'm leaning back, sometimes I even like to hold the tablet with the stand sticking out so it just fits in my hand nicely. Now, another thing that I might do at the end of the day, of course, is check in with social media. And I've got my Facebook app here, and I just simply run that. And I might be using that again on my lap with the kickstand out. And it makes quite a good device to be able to do that sort of thing. When you're using social media, one of the great things, of course, is that you can have a web page alongside your Facebook app. And I've got the touch version of Internet Explorer, of course, here. And somebody's posted a link on Facebook that's interesting, so I'll just go ahead and read that side by side with my Facebook account. The beauty of having something like the Surface Pro 3, of course, is that I really only have to have one device. Now, if you ask anybody who owns an iPad, the chances are around about 99, probably 0.9% of them have a laptop as well as their iPad. So, those devices, those Android and iPad devices, are great, and they have a lot of unique things that the Surface tablet can't do. But on the same token, people want those tablets, but they need a PC to do their work. With the Surface Pro 3, you don't need to worry about that because it is one device that can be both a tablet, it can keep you entertained, it's a great tablet to watch movies on and all those sorts of things and check social media, but it's an even better tablet to do work on. Adapting to the Surface Pro 3 might mean a few changes for you in your workflow. It might mean that instead of taking notes on pen and paper, that you need to learn to do that in a digital format. But there's enormous benefits for doing that. For example, I've been taking all of my handwritten notes in OneNote since around about 2002, 2003. So my last 10 years plus of notes are actually around about that big, right? They're infinitely small. Compared to the average person who has taken notes for the last 10 years, they've probably got a cabinet that's sitting about that high off their desk, full of their notebooks from the last 10 years. Now, the other thing about my notes is that they're all searchable for the last 10 years as well, and they're instantly shareable. So if I want to send you a page of a note that I took 10 years ago, I can do that very, very quickly and very, very easily. So there's a lot of really great benefits, from collaboration and sharing information to just having a less storage space and less cost in terms of paper, to switching to a digital workflow. And the Surface Pro 3 is really the best tablet to do that, but it is going to be a change in your workflow. Another thing that I've found really refreshing about the Surface Pro 3 is the fact that the tablet only weighs around about 800 grams. And when it's in my backpack, I often pick up my backpack and go, I'm missing something. And that's because the Surface is so light. And yet it's a device that has everything on it. So I'm never in a situation where I'm going, oh, I wish I'd brought my laptop, or I've left it at home or something like that, and I can't really do that here on this tablet. I can do everything that I need to do in the office, on the road, in the hotel room, on the train, etc. I can do it when I'm there, and I can do it right away. So I read a lot of commentary online, people saying this device is expensive and all those sorts of things. But if you just took the cost of pen and paper alone and you got rid of that, you would easily pay for the device in 1 year. When you add on the benefits of the productivity that you can get by going digital with those sorts of workflows, having the information at your fingertips when you need it, you will save yourself many times over what the Surface is worth, probably just in a few months. So really, you have to consider, when you're thinking about the price of this device, what's the cost of not having this? It's very easy to make a real justification for that. So I hope that you've got something out of that very brief overview of my day-to-day work life using the Surface Pro 3. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.